guess I need to unmute myself. All right. Well, I love walking meditation. It's such a great way to integrate the practice into the rest of our lives. And Thich Nhat Hanh, being one of my great teachers, um, teaches walking meditation a lot, and invites us to move with awareness throughout all of our activities. So we're not just practicing on the cushion, but we're practicing in every moment. And so we know that the practice of mindfulness is carried on the breath, and that the breath is the anchor for the mind to come back into the present moment and return over and over and over again to that ground beneath us, to this present moment. And so just a couple of instructions around the walking meditation, then I'll actually stand and show you what I mean in case it's not familiar to you. But I like to think about walking meditation as going without arriving. So in other words, we arrive in every moment. We're not trying to get somewhere, which is how we live our lives most of the time, trying to go somewhere, get somewhere, rushing along. And so the practice of walking meditation is also about slowing down our pace. And you all have spent these hours sitting, quieting down, and literally stopping, which is such a great help to finding, the the opening, the gap, the finding our true presence, unconditioned by all that other stuff that keeps us going around and around and around and around. So we go without arriving. We arrive in every moment. We slow ourselves down so that each step is connected to an in-breath and an out-breath. So we're breathing in and stepping, and we're breathing out and stepping, and staying with the breath as we do in meditation, including then the stepping, the walking, making contact with the earth, not getting ahead of ourselves, coming back over and over, yet going, and noticing, maybe once we've found that rhythm, beginning to notice things like the flower blooming, or the painting on the wall that we haven't seen for a while. There's a gatha, which is a mindfulness poem that some of you may be aware of, Thich Nhat Hanh's teachings with gathas, where they're little poems that are done on the breath to bring us into more connection with whatever activity we're doing. And the mindfulness poem for walking meditation goes like this. Breathing in. The mind can go in a million directions. Breathing out. But on this path, I walk in peace. And on the in-breath, with each step, a cool breeze blows. With each step, a lotus blooms. And it's referring to the story of when the Buddha was born and took, I think it was 7 steps right away. And with each step, a lotus bloomed under his or her feet. So I remember being at a place called the Ojai Foundation years and years ago when Thich Nhat Hanh first started coming to the US. And I had organized a retreat for him, and he taught walking meditation, and we were walking outside. And I had such a powerful experience of really imagining what it would be like for a lotus to bloom under my feet, to walk in such a way. And to, as he always says, to make steps of peace. We stomp around unconsciously on the ground, not even aware of the vibration that we're putting into the earth through our walking. So to walk in a way that you could imagine a lotus blooming, and what came to me at that time when I had that experience was walking as if I were holding a sleeping baby. You know how you have to walk so gently, so quietly and carefully, just like that. So we're giving back to the earth. We're cultivating awareness of how we move through life. One time, Thich Nhat Hanh had little stickers made, little round stickers that we were supposed to put in our shoes, inside our shoes, so that when we slipped our shoes on to go for walking meditation, the sticker said, "I walk for you." And he had them made in Vietnamese and French and English. So no matter what language, there we were. And so every time we put on our shoes, and I kept that in my shoe for a very long time, I walk for you. And when you're in a group, to be aware of how we show up for each other and the vibration that we're putting out. So I'm going to stand now. Let's do it this way. Maybe maybe we'll just start now. So don't stand yet. Don't stand yet. This is the practice. And here's the bell. So the first bell is to get ready to stand. And we, sort of come into giving our body the message that, okay, now I'm going to stand. And if we need to adjust our posture from sitting to, bring our knees up or whatever it is we're doing, wiggle our toes if our feet are asleep. And then the next bell is to stand. And we do it with the breath, so we don't lose the thread of the breath, the mindful breath, as we go from movement to movement or activity to activity. So the next bell is to bow to our cushion, which is the seat of our awakening. With another breath, we just recognize where we've been and what we're doing here. And then turning in whatever direction you are planning to walk. And you can just walk in a line back and forth, or you can walk, as I will, in a circle around this room. But I also want to invite you, if it's convenient for you, to walk outside for part of this time. And we'll walk for about 20 minutes. And I will ring the bell to bring us back. But if it's convenient for you to go outside, I wanted to suggest that you do that And coming out of the talk and the meditation that we've just had to walk on the earth and find a spot where you can touch the ground. And just do that, summoning her to witness, finding your seat under a tree or on a rock or on the ground. And again, if that's not possible, given where you live and where this call is happening, you can imagine doing it. And then getting back up and continuing the walking when you feel ready. And just to say that the walking, the way that I would like to suggest we do it is to, again, take one in-breath, deep, slow in-breath, and step with that in-breath. And then breathing out, deep, slow, stepping again. So it's fairly slow in, out. And that's the rhythm. Of course, we can increase the rhythm with the breath in any way we want to, so that we're going, say, 3 or 4 steps on an in-breath or 3 or 4 steps on the out-breath. And it's really a kind of a fun way to practice, to find our rhythm in the midst of wherever we happen to be walking down the street or in the garden or whatever. But for now, let's keep it in that nice, slow, deep rhythm of one step, one breath. Okay? So here is the bell to begin the walking meditation, remembering the Gata. The mind can go in a million directions, but on this path, I walk in peace. With each step, a cool breeze blows. With each step, a lotus blooms. practicing the way of awareness gives rise to benefits without limit. We vow to share the fruits with all beings. We vow to offer tribute to parents, teachers, friends, and numerous beings who give guidance and support along the path. Malalaho. So I would love to open the circle for sharing and hear whatever it is that you might like to bring forward.
Well, I loved it, all of it. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Why don't you say your name and where you're calling in from?
I'm Claire Rosenfield, and I'm in Hartsdale, New York, in Westchester. And I went out to walk. And of course, I changed the statement each time. But it was all a sense of blessing the earth. And I was noticing how soft it is underfoot when you're on the grass, as opposed to the pavement. We're always on the pavement, and I've always been so aware that Mother Earth must have suffered so greatly, having so much weight placed on her, so much solid concrete, and everywhere I see, a mall or whatever was created, it's just, and I'm in the process of reprinting the book I wrote in 2004. I might have mentioned it to you, The Call of Mother Earth. The Call of Mother Earth, how a being of light draws forth humanity's response, because Mother Earth is saying she can't do this anymore. She needs the help of all of us. And but being of light comes down and shares how to do that. So I'm so into it, into Mother Earth, and I'm so thrilled to hear of a feminist way to be involved with the Buddhist teachings, which I am involved with, and with Tara as well, but I just somehow got a whole new view of it today. And I also I'm the director of a global healing foundation. We do global healing meditations, and your meditation was so perfect. I can't wait to do it again and do it with people. So thank you, thank you.
It's wonderful to meet you, Claire, and hear the vastness of the connection that you seem to have with everything that I was sharing. So I hope to meet you again, and would invite you to come to our full moon meditation, which I do lead every month at the time of the full moon. That's the global healing meditation, a little different than what we did today, but more or less the same, and has been going on for 30 years and includes people from all over the world, and would love to know more.
Yes, it's so interesting. The person who founded the Global Healing Foundation post 9/11, he always had us meditate on the full moon. So because it empowers, it's got a strength that empowers our meditations. So I'm so glad we're all on the same page. We're in sync.
Yes, I'll write the name of, there's 2 websites people can go to get involved, and I'll write those into the chat.
Thank you.
Net, and
I also wrote into the chat that I remember hearing Thich Nhat Hanh say that each step we take should be felt as a blessing we're giving to the earth. And I love that. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Claire, for.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
I would like to jump in. I'm Manon, and at the moment I'm in Germany, but I'm French Canadian, so I'm originally from East Canada. I really appreciate the leading in this walking meditation. I think the only thing I want to share is that to a certain moment, when I released and let go, I let the body breathe and walk in sync without having to try to control it and balance myself. It just went then so naturally, even in such a slow motion. Yeah, it felt very natural. And to some degree, at a certain moment, there was the experience that when I was lifting my foot, and putting it down, I recognize and realize that I actually never leave the ground. It was as if the earth is coming with each step. I don't know how to explain that, but it was like even if my feet was going up and going down, I was never separated from earth. Never. So it's just somehow something is opening with that, and it's just landing. Yeah. So I appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, and it's great to see you again. And yeah, the earth is taking so many forms in the space in between the steps, even, and there's the, we talk about the elemental energies that make up our physical experience. So there's the earth element and the fire element, the water element, the air element, and then there's the space element that is also part of our experience. So we can touch that understanding in so many ways.
And as you're saying this, if I may, what come up is also there's the unity of everything. There's absolutely no separation, and it's not like you were mentioning my awakening. It's all happening, and it's all of us being touched at the same time. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, because you're so right. And here we are. And this is the great teaching of Gaia, for us to realize this, not separate ourselves anymore. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Rick here, Cynthia from Northeastern Ohio, and very much appreciating this meditation this whole day. And I took a walk outside in the woods behind my house, which, looking at Carla's picture there, and it looks very much the same. And I hadn't walked back there for over a year. And it was so interesting because it felt like I was walking back there for the first time. And there was a sense of just the aliveness. It wasn't just the sight, it was the breeze in the air and the leaves making their noise, and the soft mossy ground at times, and the wood chips and the birds, and even as Manoa was sharing the space, it was like space was not empty. Space is an experience that has a fullness to it, a way, and a unity to it, and a connectedness. And there was a sense again, this profound interconnectedness with all. And the other thing that was quite remarkable was this sense of, I couldn't remember the exact words either, but what's sticking in my mind was, I'm walking for you. This each step, I'm walking for you. And you was Mother Earth, but it also encompassed, I would say, consciousness itself. And that had a whole nother context to it. And it's like what I even feel, even sharing now in a meditation. There's nothing about this being my awakening or my walking. It was a sense of it's all one, and it's all for us. It's all for the one. And that was really profound. And it was just, again, the sense of just being open to that, surrendered in a way to that. And it had a power to it that I was feeling in, and was still feeling. It was almost overwhelming, which was interesting. It had kind of an overwhelming beauty, goodness, possibility to it that was felt. That was so interesting. And I just recognized how you were explaining how often I walk with the destination in mind. I do everything with the destination in mind. And it's the busyness that I close off something. I limit something else. And that was really profound in that walk. And I thank you.
Thank you. I have tears in my eyes listening to you, Rick. You've articulated the experience I think many of us may have also touched, but is often so hard to put into words, because it's just like, oh. And you just described that arriving, So thank you. I'm almost tempted to want to transcribe from the recording because it's just so pure the way you expressed it. Very touching.
Just to open to that, to be vulnerable to that is everything. And even the vulnerable of the earth and walking with the earth. Yes. As the earth. Yeah.
So simple, right? But so we lose it. We just lose it so often. I'm also reminded of, we have this notion in Buddhism of emptiness. And really and because I'm connecting this to the space element, but something you said also brought it forward, that we think of this emptiness as being empty, right? And just like empty. But it's not. It's full of everything. And what it is empty of is that sense of a separate self. So it's filled with the connectivity of all things that we are part of. And so we are empty of a separate self that keeps us separate. And that's really, I get this from Thich Nhat Hanh's teaching a lot, because that's how he describes it too. It's being empty of a separate self. And in that, we are filled with and connected to all of it.
Thank you.
Cynthia,
Yes.
my name is Hope. It's nice to meet you, to see you for the first time, and everyone here, actually. My first visit. I sent a question for you in the chat. I love this work and feel that it brings me into a sense of unity more and more. And yet I'm often at a loss as how to connect it to my neighbors who are very separate in their own religious spaces and do not see a unity. These are both very old traditions, and um, it's like almost want to say, what good does it do for me to continue or us to continue? This doesn't not meant to sound as depressing as it is sounding right now. It's like preaching to the choir in a way. Do you know what I'm saying?
I'm not quite getting you yet. Keep going.
So I don't wish to achieve enlightenment for myself. I want to become more and more able to see clearly and do this work so that I can be also a vessel for others to move in that direction. And it disheartens me often when I am expressing this in whatever way I am, just by being. But for instance, that bumper sticker that I have that has all the traditions of the world's religions on it in different lettering. And one of my neighbors said, well, we can't coexist because these people are waiting for their savior, these people are waiting for their Messiah, and so there is no unity. So what do you say to people when there is a complete denial of our oneness? Just a small question.
Yeah. Well, in a way, I guess I always come back to this practice with the earth treasure vases that I've been so lucky to be able to carry out all around the world. And this is the practice I received from this 106-year-old Lama when I asked him, what can we do to bring healing and protection to the earth? And it's the practice of the earth treasure vase. So the vases are filled with prayers and offerings of all kinds. And, the rational mind might think, well, how's this going to really make a difference, But what I've seen is that everybody, no matter what religion, what cultural background, what spiritual tradition, what politics they follow, everybody cares about life. Everybody cares about the place where they live and wants to see it thrive, wants to see peace, wants to see beauty. So everyone has an offering to make, a prayer, whatever the language is, And I've gone into places where I've thought, well, I don't know whether, these people will be very responsive, or there's tribal differences here. And what do we do? Or, who knows what. And I've been so moved by the universal caring that human beings all share. And so to get caught in the politics or the differences is to, sort of get sidetracked from that which we do share. And, I think the Dalai Lama has something to say about that, if I'm not mistaken, that we all want happiness. So that's where I go, Hope. That's where I go. And I don't think it helps much to argue, particularly. At least not, I'm not a good arguer, so I don't particularly go there. But love. You know, love is a great opener.
Thank you. And I heard in the beginning of what you said that your question was very clear to this man in Nepal. It was very simple and very clear. And I think that that might be a good thing for me to pay attention to in terms of what I'm trying to bring.
I encourage you and to ask Gaia, you know, for the guidance on what that is for you. So we each have a gift. We each have an offering. We each have a unique way that is just ours, you know, and some of us are really quiet and just, you know, right in our own backyard, and some of us are out all over the world and everything in between. But finding that is so important.
Thank you.
I guess everybody's kind of aware of the time. I think we are supposed to end at on the hour. Is that right, Manon? I'm happy to take another 1 or 2 comments if people are interested, and I'm happy to call it a day if that's what needs to happen.
I just want to invite people to look at what I put into the chat, because of coming up June 19th to 26th, an Indigenous lovely man who speaks perfect English and lives in British Columbia and who was brought up in a school, you know, one of those schools.
Claire,
Yes.
I'm just going to jump in and just say,
Okay.
I can see it, and thank you.
Okay, good. I just want to hope
We've
people will
already
see it.
heard from you, but we haven't
Okay.
heard from others. So if that's, please, and feel free to contact me personally with this. I can't read the chat. It's too much for my ADD to get all involved in the chat when we're having such a deep conversation and deep meditation. So just want to bring it back to taking another breath, being here, not losing the thread of what we have been doing together, and just honoring each and everyone here and those who may listen to the recording later for your presence and your practice. Yes, Carola, nice to see you. And nice to see your face, Joanna. I don't think I've actually ever seen you before. If I have, I'm so sorry, I don't remember, but I see you now. So much love. Yeah. Carola.
The first steps I make, I struggle a little bit with going and breathing, and with more time it becomes more calm, and I feel more clear now, more clear and more calm and wider. And the last hour, the meditation of Gaia, you've guided. I felt my heart it's really different from feminine. My English is not so good, but my heart without borders, like at the beach, the water and the sand and the beach, and you can't imagine where exactly is the border, and I can't imagine where's the border from my heart and your heart and the heart of Gaia, because there is no border. And it was a really deep feeling. I thank you very much. Thank you.
That's always the hope and the intention, and so glad that you touched that place today. And may it continue to feed you, you know, and now that you know that place, now that we all know that place, you know, may we come back to it and bring it into our lives.
I would also like to share an interesting experience. When you guided the meditation, I had 2 months ago a quite a traumatizing experience. But after that time, people around me helped me a lot. And when you guided the meditation, I felt that the love of Gaia is speaking through them, helping me. That was very touching.
Mm. Mm. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're so welcome. These are precious moments, very precious. You know, these are like the fruits of the practice. And, you know, it's important to keep watering those seeds so they keep sprouting and blooming, and stay connected to them. Don't dissipate this energy, which is also our habit. And like we go so fast, you know, we dissipate so much of these precious moments. So let's keep cultivating the field. Thank you, Maria.
Hi, I just want to say thank you. This was such a gift. It was unexpected. I thought it was a 1-hour class. And I'm so grateful that I had a loving husband who lets me do what I want on Sunday. My dogs don't let me though, so I didn't go downstairs because they would have barked and wanted to come with me. So I turned off the AC, I opened the windows, and I felt the cool breeze with every step.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a nice tree in my bedroom. And I went over and I spoke with it, and it was very thirsty and it was very dusty. So while we were walking, instead of sitting under a tree, I stood over it and I pet its leaves and washed a few of them off, trying to be mindful and staying. And I was able to stay in the meditation, and it was lovely to just be there. And oh, and your cricket is so lovely. I think you have a cricket, and it was a lovely song, and I'm very, very grateful. So thank you for this wonderful gathering. Totally unexpected. I'm very, very feel totally blessed by you and all of you being here in this wonderful experience. So thank you.
How did you hear about this gathering, Polly?
I believe it was the mystery school, Jeff Greer's mystery school. I believe it was offered through that.
Okay. Well, wonderful that you could stay for the whole time and really give this to yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
There's your cricket again.
Well, it feels kind of like maybe it's time to take this where it needs to go into the rest of our lives and bring today's session to a close. I hope to see you all again, either here or at some of my own events. I have many things going on that I'd love you to join. Carola has been coming to some of them, and it's it's wonderful to, yeah, cultivate the field together in some different ways. So please be in touch with me through those websites if you are moved to. And, you know, may all beings benefit from all of this, and may it continue to ripple out. Yeah. Much love to you.
Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you for your generosity.
It's my joy. Yeah.
So everybody,
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you, everyone.
Much love.
Much love.